Hello, everyone, and welcome to this very first live stream that David and I have done on Facebook. This is our first one, as I said. Probably going to be all sorts of technical problems for us. Those of you who know us well, we know that the markets don't phase us. Volatile price action doesn't phase us, but anything sort of technical to do with streaming and sort of technology can tie us up a little bit in knots. So I hope you'll be a little bit patient with us. At the moment, what you can see is actually David's screen where he's got NinjaTrader. And we're going to have a quick look at what is happening in the Forex market. I'm actually going to see if I can share my screen. As I said, this is the first time we've done it on Facebook. It's very straightforward on YouTube. So please do bear with us. Let me see if I can share. Share. There we are. There we are. Okay. Yeah, great. It looks like it's actually going to work. So thank goodness for Zoom. Brilliant uh, platform for us to use. And as you can see, I'm actually looking at the Dixie just to see what has been happening, what is happening, and what has been happening. And very clearly, what is happening, the Dixie is once again in this consolidation. I've got my relevant support and resistance lines marked up. I do this manually, and I always like to put these key lines in manually, certainly on the daily chart. And there's a very simple reason for that. And that is because even if you are on the faster time frames, when one of these levels appears on a faster time frame, say the 5-minute chart or the 3-minute chart, or even if you're like David, you trade the seconds charts, you really do have to pay attention to them, because in trading, doesn't matter what you trade, these levels that appear on the slower time frames do carry an awful lot more weight when they appear on the faster time frames. At the moment, it's kind of as you can see, it's drifting sideways. We've got 100 at the top. We've got 95 here down at the bottom. We had an attempt to, we have an attempt to rise off here. We actually have a classic hammer candle back in January. I beg your pardon, this is the weekly chart. A decent hammer candle that we see here. A lot of volume underneath it. The expectation is it was going to bounce off, and it did bounce off. Retested that level, and this is what you often find when price approaches a key level, and you get the volume coming in, as we see here on the bottom of the hammer candle. You will get a reaction, but it will often retest it, and the volume underneath it was okay, not fantastic. We also knew that it was likely to retest, because if you can see here, we had that nice volume under that hammer, pushed it up, but whilst there was follow through, it was the volume was less. The candle was quite compressed, as it were. So there was an effort to maintain that momentum, but it didn't really take off. And then you had the retest, and then up you go. And then where did it stop? It stopped at this level here, which the 100 level is always going to be an iconic level. And the way I use these levels, as I said, I put them on the slower time frames. That's what it looks like on the weekly. This is what it looks like on the day, and we can clearly see it's just moving sideways. What's not concerning. It's concerning if you're a day trader, and that is we're seeing a lot of compression in the price action here, and we are seeing decent volume going in. And whilst the momentum is obviously slowing down because it's moving sideways, so we don't have a lot of volatility, the fact is there's an awful lot of volume pressure going in, and eventually this will play a part in what is going to happen. Is it going to go higher, or is it going to go lower? And the thing to bear in mind with the dollar, it's the value of the dollar in the currency markets is something that it does preoccupy the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, and I've mentioned this before. you really do need to follow his X feed, read what you can about him, what he says, because as many of you may know, he does have a storied background in the hedge fund industry, and the currency market is one of his specialities, not least because he was part of the team that actually destroyed the British pound when on what we call Black Wednesday. And talking about the British pound, the state of the country that we are in at the moment here in the UK, we're seeing some pretty scary moves in the bond market now. So Scott Bessent, one of his avowed aims is to keep the value of the dollar, not to it's to keep it weak in inverted commas, because a weaker current that is what his aim is to keep the value of the dollar. He really doesn't want to see a strong dollar. So that's what I suggest you do. Now, when we move down to the faster time frames, let's go down to the hourly. What I look at here, as we can see here, we see exactly the same. There we are. Let's have a look here. We're nowhere near those key levels. And this is where I introduce something like where's it gone? The Camarilla level. And the reason I like the Camarilla, it's part of the quantum suite of tools, in as much that the levels that are drawn on the hourly chart, I do beg your pardon, these levels here are valid for the whole week. So the fact is, we can see here the R3 and the R4 are really the two most important in terms of price objective, price pausing. And we can see here earlier today, it actually managed to get through the R3, which is what we would expect. And the expectation is it gets to the R4, which it may or may not do later on in the session. But as I said, the nice thing about the Camarilla is that from the hourly chart up to the daily, these levels that you see here will be in play. And then next week, when the new week starts, they change. And we go down to, say, the 5-minute chart, see what's happening there. We can see here what's happened here. Right, this is actually quite interesting. And it often happens with the levels that are calculated or recalculated on a daily basis. And that is, if you have a strong move, as we had here earlier on this morning, just before the London Open, we had the usual London Open trap. We had a fall down to the R3, almost touched the R3, a volatility candle, or what we call our FOMO candle, trapping a lot of traders thinking, this price is, it's going to be a sell-off of the pound, which of the US dollar, do beg your pardon, I've got the pound on the brain at the moment. And what happens, you have a ton of volume going in, you end up with this deep wick to the bottom of the candle, takes it to the R4, and it actually has created a really, really nice trend high. Now, this is in the dollar. What we'd have to do is go and see where that move is most strongly represented, and that's what David is going to show you when I transfer over to him. Now, what has actually happened is the levels that are daily Camarilla levels have now all been taken out. So because we have 6 levels and we are above the R6, so we say, well, what are we to do? Because you've said the R3 and the R4 are the most important. Well, this now becomes support for any perhaps move higher in the afternoon session. And this is where we switch back to the hourly chart. And we looked at it earlier, and we can see here, okay? So it came off the R3, hasn't got to the R4, so it's now within this range. If it carries on higher, this is the objective. It will more than likely pause. It always tends to, doesn't always go straight, maybe come off a little bit and then go through. And once it goes through, what you need to see is decent volume on the correction, on the pullback. the way we define whether that's a genuine pullback or simply, a correction or a pullback, is to look at the volume. You look at the volume under the first candle, the second, maybe the third, and you see if the selling is draining away, you know that all that is a pullback, and it will go back to retest the R4. And it may stay there for a while. It may just simply go sideways. But once it goes through that with volume, then what is the next objective, as it were? Well, it's the 98. And then we're back into those, as I said, the levels back on the daily. And obviously we're some way away from the 100 level that we can see here. So that's what's shaping up on the Dixie. I just want to pass over to David because he wants to, as I said, he wants to show you where that strong move was in the Dixie this morning. As I said, took out all the levels on the Dixie on the daily cameras, and we'll see how that is reflected in the actual majors. So I'm going to pass over to David, and I will stop sharing, and I will mute myself.